If you ever tried to track your expenses from invoices or receipts, it can be painful. So in this workflow, I'm going to upload a sample Home Depot invoice PDF. It's going to take that. I'm going to call Docling, which is an open source IBM document parser. Absolutely amazing. It has 50,000 GitHub stars as of right now. It's going to take that, parse the PDF into something readable, such as Markdown. For the model, it's going to create the items and then insert that into a data table. And so, like, for instance, up here is a full breakdown of the invoice. Here is the categorized. Here's the number of items that were bought, obviously when we bought it, and then the actual total amount. This is all ready to use, set up for you 100% local. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and look at the workflow. So we're using N8N's easy, simple form submission. So I just have a title for it. I basically want it to be able to accept PDF files, and that's exactly pretty much all it does. And then it's going to convert that using an HTTP request. It's going to take that PDF and make it something readable, Markdown. And we're using Docling, which, as I mentioned, is a very powerful open source library from IBM. Right, as of right now, they are at around 50.3K stars on their GitHub. They are, if not at least in the top 2 best document parsers that there is. Llama Parse is also very good. But I would highly recommend using this, and I'm going to show you how I use it here. And then once we finish calling that, I'm using OpenAI simply for recording so that I can record it smoothly, but you can also just use Ollama. I'll show you how I had that set up as well. And then we are just going to take the output from the JSON output. We're going to set those into specific fields for the full text, the total amount, the category, number of items. And then we are going to be inserting all of those into a database table within N8N. And you'll find all this information with everything that you need inside of my free school community in the description below. Okay, now we've finished the first step. Now let's go ahead and look at the stack that we're going to be using for Docker. Okay, so let's go ahead and look over here. We have a few things going on. I have an environment variable that you'll be using. This is so that you could also use Postgres. I have it set up for that. And I have just some basic things here that you need, especially for encryption keys and the runners auth token. The runners is now how they're executing code within Docker. And then we have the Docker compose file, right? So this is, not to go through this quickly, is we have Ollama set up. I have Docling API, which is basically fast API, but so that I can call Docling. And then we have our N8N container, or N8N image that we're pulling, and the task runners image that we're pulling as well. Now the big thing is to use Docling because it's a Python library. I first tried to use with just N8N runners, but I was getting into a lot of different problems with like PyTorch and everything else that Docling needs because it's an OCR for it to work. So instead, first off, here's everything that you need installed to get it to run, but instead of being able to just use it within the code node now with the updates after 2.0 for N8N, I'm now just using a fast API. I have a main Python file. This fast API file is basically going to help me with some of the settings that you need to have for this to work using Docker. And then I just have an endpoint that we're calling through the HTTP request to make this work. So once you get all the files, and they'll be in a structure like this, so N8N local Docling. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to need to rename your .env example file. And then you're going to run docker compose up build -d, and I'll have all this information for you by school community. But it's going to go ahead and create everything you need to make this run. And then once you're done, we can go ahead and start using. Okay, so we started the stack that we need for Docker, and now we're going to go ahead and begin building the workflow. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new workflow. And let's go and create the form submission. Okay, this is very straightforward, right? Within N8N especially. You're going to search for form. So N8N form. I want to, the trigger on a new event, what I want to do is I don't need to worry about authentication right now, but this is going to be for receipts. And then you can add some description, right? Analyzer. And then we want to add a form element, right? So this is going to be the file. The element type, we're going to search for file. And then you can add attributes like accepted file types, or if it's a required field, whichever. But I'm just going to, for right now, only accept .pdfs. Okay, if you want to accept image type files, then you absolutely can do that as well. But then we're going to also add attributes that this is a required field. Okay, and then that should be good. So we can go ahead and test this really quick. So go ahead and execute the workflow. Okay, so I chose my PDF and then hitting submit, exit this. Great, it was able to it was able to get the file for the form. Okay, we got that part working. Awesome. Okay, great. We just finished step 3, building basically the form submission. And now we want to figure out how we're going to convert the PDF to Markdown with Docling. Well, like I had mentioned, we are using Fast API, which is going to allow us to call an endpoint or an API basically with our HTTP request. So how that's going to work is you're going to click the plus button here. I'm going to search for HTTP request. And now we need to fill out some of this information. You can just simply copy and paste this, but this is what you need. This is a post request. So we're going to change the method to post. And then we do have a body. Okay, but the body type, we're going to change to form data. Now, what we need is, instead of form data, it's actually going to be a binary file. So what is the name of this binary file? So we're just going to type in file. And then the input data field name, this is going to be receipt. Okay, so let's go ahead and test this out now. So again, if we look at this, we have the API endpoint that we're using locally in Docker with Fast API. And if we call this, we're going to test if this works. Okay, this did not work because it says the item has no binary field receipt. Okay, so here in this case, it is just called file. So let's just do that. Let's go ahead and then run this again. Okay, so now it's updating. So what we could do here is we could label this, see, I labeled this file. We could label this receipt instead. So if I did receipt here, right? So if I go ahead and stop this, we're going to execute this workflow. I'm going to choose the same file again. Now it failed because it right here, we changed the name to receipt. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that because I like that much better. It makes more sense. Okay, so now it's calling Docling. It's going to convert this PDF into Markdown so that we can then use for our model. Okay, great. And here we go. We got the Markdown version of this. So if we kind of look at the JSON, here's basically the Markdown of our sample invoice. Okay, so we have now converted the PDF into Markdown with Docling. Now let's go ahead and create the message that is going to categorize and extract some things from a prompt. So I'm going to go ahead and add a new node. Call this OpenAI. And then I'm going to just call it message. I'm just going to go ahead and message a model. Go ahead and create an account here. Go get your API key, create the credential. The model I'm going to use is, we can just use GPT-5-mini maybe. Yeah, we can maybe just use that. And then for the prompts, you'll go ahead and be able to just copy and paste this in. But what the big thing here is, if we open this up, big thing here is, right, we have the file name, the file type, just PDF, and then the actual Markdown. Okay, so this is just a sample prompt that you can use, just kind of get quite a bit of information from the receipt or even maybe an invoice, but the actual invoice Markdown we're getting from here, right? So that's what you see over here. This is the actual, see, this is the Markdown. It looks nice, right? Like we actually got 5 items here. We had the subtotal, the sales tax, then the actual total. Here's the payment. I mean, this is everything that it extracted. And if you're curious to see if this is actually accurate, here are the 5 items. The total is $129.50. The sales tax, sample invoice mock, the vendor, the invoice number, and everything. This is, I know this isn't the most elaborate invoice, but it does have table structure. It does have things aligned a little differently, but especially for the invoice number right here ending in 00127, that's correct. It did a very good job. Okay, so once you basically have that information, once you have this, we're gonna go ahead and execute this step. Okay, so completed. Obviously, this isn't the best way to look at this, but it got a small summary of it. Kind of basically the items, but we need to separate this out so it looks nicer and we can actually read what it's outputting here. Okay, great. We got the categorizer finished. And then now we're going to go ahead and move on to actually parsing that output so that we can then save it to a data table. Okay, let's go ahead and zoom in here. And for the next one, this is the set field is such an amazing field, right? So what we are going to do here is text here. I'm going to just drag this over. And this wants to be, we can call this full summary. And then what I do want to say here is I'm going to type this in .replace all, because sometimes now really this is probably the prompt could be better, but sometimes you get those triple tick marks that say JSON. Well, we just want to go ahead and replace all of that, all those triple ticks, and what it could say in the beginning, right? So here I want, okay, so now once we have that, you can see we have the result here, but I want to say .parse JSON. So now what this allows us to do is go and extract different things from here. So I could just extract the summary, right? So it's saying full summary. So I can copy paste this. I can come in here and say, now I want the next field. I just want the total. I'm going to go ahead and come in here, paste that again. But now that I have everything parsed, I think there is a total field. There is. Also, I want the number of items. In here, I can just copy and paste, I can paste that again. And then we have it separated out as line items. This is an object array, but we can say length. Okay, now we know there's 5 items. Okay, so we can do that for now. We can come back and we can always add more, right? So if I execute this step, brings out the full summary, the total, and the number of items. Okay, good job. Okay, great job. We parsed all these items. Now, the last thing we need to do is go ahead and save these to our data tables. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and create another data table here. And by the way, to get here, if you're in your home, right, kind of in the middle, there are some tabs here. So choose data tables. And then what we can do is at the top right, then click create data table. We can just call this our receipts. You know, call it whatever you'd like. Go, and then what it does is it gives you an ID created at and updated at column already. We want a summary column, so just click the plus button here. It'll kind of adjust always. Click this, and then we want the number of items. This can be a number, add column, and then we want the total. Okay, this can also be a number. So add column. Okay, great. There we are good to go. So now what we need to do is add a data table node. So search for data. Click on data table, and then we can search for insert. So insert the row. We're going to choose our receipts, and then we can just, now all we do is drag and drop. That's why the set field is so nice, because it took everything that we had, the kind of the messy output from the model. Now all we do is drag and drop here, and this is makes this very simple. Now let's go and execute the step. And it came back. If it comes back with an ID and like all basically the row of data, then you know it worked successfully. Okay, so, and it did. So now, if we go back to our data table, this is our receipts. All we have to do is refresh. And then once we do, we have now saved our summary, the number of items, and the total for that invoice. Okay, now what we could easily do is also just send us an email afterwards, or if we want to take a screenshot in Telegram or take a screenshot and you upload it to your drive to also store it, the actual receipt, you could take that, take the picture, or if you download it from email, you get it from an email. You could have specific labels for all of your invoices that you get in your email, and then this could check that label every so often and then go ahead and get them and put them here as well. So again, if you want the Docker Compose, Docling API files, the actual blueprint and everything, it'll be in the link for my school community below. But one of the main things about this is it's completely self-hosted. You know, you don't have to put this in the cloud and pay for it, right? Just using a library can make a lot of these things so much simpler, okay? So if you want to learn more about self-hosting and using VPS, watch this video right here.